Hi, I'm Anthony English. I had a couple of episodes recently where customers contacted me to tell me that their AIX systems, in one case, was responding very slowly, in the other case, not at all. Now, in both instances, there were problems related to the network and not to do with AIX. So I thought it would be worthwhile stepping through how we work together to uncouple the symptoms on AIX from the real cause. So we had a few candidates here. We had a few problems. We saw the problems on AIX, but I was aware that there were issues within the network of some kind, and perhaps within the application there was Citrix involved. So we had to untangle the symptoms from the cause. In one instance, I was only told after the effect, and so we had to do a little bit of detective work afterwards. So the first one was an application slowdown. An application, a certain thing within the app, usually took 4 seconds for users to run a report or some procedure that they did, but suddenly it started taking not 4 seconds but 2 minutes. So the users were obviously not happy. Now, at the same time, there was another issue, which was that their internet connectivity went down. So that immediately started me thinking, well, how is AIX connecting to the internet? They assured me, the customer, that AIX didn't use the internet and that all of the work was done between the application and the database itself, both internally within AIX. But however, once the internet link came back up, everything was fine. Immediately, the users were happy again and were getting good response times. So after I stepped through with the customer a little bit more, they did discover that in fact the application was doing some authentication via the internet, and it shouldn't have been doing that, but that was within the application itself. So that was the first problem. The symptom was within AIX, slow response time, but in fact the AIX system itself was performing fine within itself. And they fixed the application authentication, or that was their task for the users. So the second one was an interesting one, which was that AIX was not responding. Now, at the same time, I heard the very vague description that there had been a network outage. I was yet to get to the bottom of what the network outage was, but of some kind. But AIX was not responding. Now, by the time I heard about it, the AIX system had already been, the AIX commands were not responding. The users were able to log in, but it didn't matter what command they ran, PS or DF to display file systems, PS to show processes, or other commands, and there was just no response. You could type in the command. Now, to connect into this AIX environment was via Citrix. So I connected via Citrix. They had rebooted their AIX environment by the time I heard about it, and still no improvement. So that indicated to me that there was no simple runaway process, or that there was no that the system hadn't simply run out of paging space. That would take a while for that symptom to happen again after a reboot. So shortly afterwards, we tried to bypass Citrix. The user was able to log in on the AIX console, and response times were fine. Also able to log in within the internal network without going via Citrix. Once again, the response times were fine. So there was no problem within AIX itself. It was in fact Citrix that was not able to to send its responses back from AIX through to the users connecting via Citrix. So there you have it. A couple of episodes where the problem was initially seen to be AIX itself, perhaps a hardware problem or an operating system or the environment there. But in fact, the issue was well outside AIX. Certainly in one case with that Citrix issue, and the other one was the application itself. So I find that when doing some troubleshooting after years of painful experience, I have found that it's helpful not only to look at where the first symptom is, but also to identify, to help isolate the problem, to identify what is working as well as what's not working. Otherwise, you'll end up with double the trouble.